So welcome to another podcast episode of the Soulful Side of Life with me, Portee. I hope you're well and having a good week. And today's podcast episode is with Sonia Piarulli. Sonia is such a gentle and sweet and kind soul. And I feel she's too kind and sweet for the fashion entertainment world, but she's just where God has placed her. She's always has a smiling face, and she's hospitable and warm and welcoming. Very quintessential Italian. And I met Sonia last year when I was in Umbria, Italy, when she was the manager of Italian influencer Mariana Di Baio. And I didn't get a chance to chat with her or get to know her then. But it was this year when I was back in Umbria and we were able to sit down and have a chat. And I was blessed in speaking with her, particularly on how she sees the role as a Christian, and how we're to be a service to other people, and more specifically that we're called to shine the light of Jesus in every sphere of life, in our professional world, in our faith world, in all areas. And she's a great listener, and she gives really good, wholehearted, gentle but firm advice. This podcast episode dives into her role of overseeing influencers and managing them and presenting them in front of the best possible opportunities in fashion, in travel, in lifestyle. She has a master's in fashion design and working in a history of working with talent and representing talent, which is not an easy job to do. So without further ado, enjoy this podcast episode with Sonia. If you are a person of faith, if you are a person who is interested in the influencer fashion world, this episode is for you, because Sonia went from managing one of Italy's first to do it and well-known influencers, Mariano, and working with top fashion brands to present him in front of the best possible opportunities, to launching her own agency called Philo. So you're not going to want to miss this, especially if this is an area that aligns with your own professional development. So enjoy. Sonia, thank you so much for joining the podcast.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
It's so nice to speak to you about being a woman of faith, but having your own agency and representing talent and what that's like. So before we jump into that, I'd love to hear a little bit about, what was little girl Sonia like? Was this your plan to start an agency when you were a child?
Oh, wow. I was a dreamy girl. I was dreaming about the fashion world mainly. I was looking at this glamorous industry from outside, thinking everything was like a movie, but
Yeah.
never expected to be this hard journey. And I also learned that after 10 years of working in this industry, that even if it's not this glamorous, you need a lot of preparation and humility. From the outside, it looks glamorous, but requires a lot of discipline, patience, and also a great emotional intelligence, I think.
Definitely. How did you get into this line of work? You started managing one of Italy's most well-known Italian influencers, Mariano Di Baio. Were you doing anything before Mariano, or was he like your first entryway into what you're doing?
It wasn't my first thing. He wasn't the first I worked with, but I had pretty small experiences before him, because I studied fashion design and fashion communication for 3 years after the school. did a degree. I bring a degree in a master in fashion design and communication. And after that, I started working with a brand, a cashmere brand here in Umbria called Fabiana Filippi. I was a modelist, and then, but my real passion was the communication, the fashion communication. So after that, I had the opportunity to start working in the fashion communication, directing a fashion blog with Mariano. At the time, blogs were the main social media
Mm.
before social media happens. So I started doing fashion writing and blog fashion writing for him. But after that, he was growing in Instagram and in social media. So we started looking each other and started building bigger collaboration with brands. And we started at very different journey in what it became the influencer marketing world. It was an industry at the beginning, but now after 10 years, it's another world, another kind of industry. And
Yeah,
for almost 10 years, I was involved in talent management, in brand partnership, in creative production. And this gave me a unique perspective
of
and
course.
on how the influencer marketing industry was evolving. And
Uh-huh.
I felt it was the right time to take this leap of faith and build my own agency with the vision of combining creativity and style and authenticity, but with strong values, with integrity.
Would you say that this is your calling, that this is what God has called you to do?
I feel that because I learned that leadership is about serving. It's not about
Mm.
being served. Exactly like Jesus served the disciples. I learned that a good leader is someone who's serving other
Yeah.
people. And that's why I wanted to create a place where talents and brands both can build integrity and go hand in hand. And I wanted to build not just a negotiation, not just a commercial partnership, but I wanted to build culture, to build
Mhm.
people growing in integrity. Yes, that's what I wanted to create.
And it's important because I notice with like PRs often and journalists that integrity can be lost just to get a story published or people using people. And it's really nice to have an agency out there like yours that is focusing on the integrity part. It's very key. What would you say has the most challenging part in doing the work that you do?
Okay, the hard part is to always stay humble and always serve, even when I'm in a place where people are not serving each other. People use people, and the fashion industry is a lot. These so people using people, this new kind of model of people serving people. It's a different perspective, but also it's hard because sometimes you find people who wants to use it to use you. But at the same time, that's their responsibility, not mine. So
Yeah.
the day when I will meet the Father, I want to be called a good and faithful servant. So I want to serve.
Of course. What have it's important to work with the big brands that you've worked with, like Dolce& and Gabbana? What's skill set is needed? What's important? Because someone may be out there thinking, "Oh, I can just go and start my own agency and just reach out to big brands," and it's not that easy. But once you have a relationship going with a big fashion brand like Dolce& and Gabbana, what skills are needed to nurture it? What are the things you have to know to work with the
Yeah.
big brands?
The way I started building a relationship with this kind of brand, a relationship with people inside the brands, and knowing each other also in a personal way. So going beyond the contracts, basically. For example, with Dolce and Gabbana, we had a relationship that was a very long yearly relationship. We collaborated for 4 years. So going beyond the emails and shaking hands and going deeper to create a real relationship with the people behind the brand, it's very important for me because you're creating relationship that it's not going to fall to shade away, but they stay strong. So when you do a move like mine, everything is smoother because people know you, they know how you work, they know you are an hard worker, and also the people and talent you represent are people who are humbled and hard worker too.
And you just said something I think that's interesting. It can be very hard to start a relationship with talent or a fashion brand because they don't know you. But I think that once they know you, it's just easier from there to pitch ideas, to keep growing, to collaborate further. That's the hardest part. So you worked with Mariano and then you've decided now to launch or you have launched your own agency. The name is Philo. I know there's a meaning behind that. So yeah, could you talk about how you got the name?
Yeah, Philo is left. It's just like a thread that unite brands and talents, a thread that telling a story. Because this, I think the industry in Italy was missing the approach that an approach that truly combines professionalism with humanity. So many agencies focus on performance, on numbers, and that's right. But I wanted to build something more personal where both brands and talents feels guided, feels supported. My vision was to create an agency where excellence and integrity go hand in hand. So it's a boutique approach because it's not very big,
Yeah.
but it's a good point because I think it's more tailored on people, tailored on brands. So that's one what I wanted to create.
Yeah. How did you know or when do you know that it's the right time to launch your own agency? Like what advice would you tell
I
someone?
felt it was the right time now. You just feel it.
Mm,
I was feeling it from 1 or 2 years after my kids. After
mm.
having kids, I started want, wanting to create space where I can combine the professional work and balance it with my personal life. I also have the church ministries with my husband. Who is a pastor? So I wanted to dedicate the right time to work, but managing my time in a different way.
Yeah.
So that's why I really wanted to create something I was managing by my own, managing my time, managing my values, managing how I have to talk and speak with the yes.
Yeah.
This was the right time. I think you just feel it, right?
Yeah. And I'm sure the Holy Spirit was also guiding you because all of our steps are ordered by the Lord and God provided you had your schooling, you got the master's, and that was like step one. And then God provided the client or your main client or the one you were managed was Mariano, and then God guided you to start your own thing. And it's amazing that when we trust God and we look back on the years, we can see how he's ordering our steps and
Yeah.
showing us our purpose.
That's true. That's true. I'm also very thankful to Mariano and to what I did in the agency, because everything I learned with him basically, and he's a great leader, and I learned how to lead with him too. So I will be forever grateful to him. And if I see backwards, I see guide. I see.
Yeah, it's amazing. Do you find it challenging to be a pastor's wife because you have church responsibilities, you have people that you have to look after in the church and doing your own agency? How do you do both?
Oh, it's uh, it can be very hard, but I think it's really not, because if you see both things, so the career from one side and being the wife of a pastor on the other side, if you lead everything with God's integrity, asking, I think that the secret is asking the Holy Spirit to fulfill your heart, to guide every step you take, and to be honest and kind with people around you. They can be both in the professional career or in the church. If you are guided by the Holy Spirit, He guides you toward the people. You became a point of reference for a lot of people, but everything is very personal. So when I speak to my talent, for example, they are not just clients to me. They're people I can disciple. There are people
Mm,
I can talk with about Jesus, and what I can show them how it's actually having a life with Jesus. So they are curious about my spiritual life, and both them, but it's the same approach. It's the same approach I have with my friends in faith, because I think every relationship can be a discipleship. So you can
that's
invest
true.
in relationship and discipline each other. So
Yes.
that's the kind of relationship I want to have to people with people. They can be inside my job, but they can be outside in the personal life. But that's the approach I want to, the kind of relationship. At this,
Yeah. A discipleship. I'm so grateful that before I got into the fashion world, I've been a born again Christian since 2012 and I grew up in the church. But I can't imagine being in this entertainment fashion world without knowing Jesus because it's an industry of transactional relationships, of people using you. You can easily be offended, greed, all these things that we see. And uh, it's just so much better that I'm a born again Christian being in this space because and I say this because when I was with you a couple of weeks ago and we were riding back in the car and we were discussing someone else and you said something very powerful. You said they have an opportunity to meet Jesus today or through you. And that is, I think, the meaning of being a Christian in this industry because it is an opportunity that every time you go to a party or a fashion show or a meeting or a dinner, whatever, it's an opportunity for people to meet with Jesus through you. And that's a very powerful responsibility, a calling. And yeah, I just wanted to say that because you get it. And God can trust an agency and clients and designers in your hand because you get it.
and it's both an opportunity for them, but for you too, because, for
Yes.
example, I tried living in this world. by myself. When I firstly approached the fashion world, it was very glamorous. Everything was so bright, seemed so bright, and I tried to do things by my own, and it was also a great time in the perspective of a non-believer. And I know that with God, I learned that with God, it's so much better than this because everything was so useful at the end.
Yeah.
No, sorry, it was so useless in the end. So it was, there was no point. I was traveling the world. This world seemed so bright. These people were so seductive. But it doesn't matter at the end. At the end, if you want to be a faithful servant, you learn how to trust God is better because you show them how good God is, but also it show yourself to preach the gospel to yourself first.
Yeah.
And after
Yeah.
that, you can preach the gospel to the others.
Yeah.
Even in big events and parties, and in this entertainment industry that is, it's hard. But when you preach the gospel to yourself first, then you're filled with the Holy Spirit, and everything is possible.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, because God definitely has used this industry to show me myself in areas that need to be strengthened and corrected and turned around and surrendered into His hands. Because, when we're by ourselves, we don't think we have any problems. But when we come into contact with other people, we realize you probably really see that in a marriage too, how much you need work in different areas. And it's so easy to be offended in this industry. It's so easy to want to get back at somebody who treated you wrong or yeah, whatever the case may be. And it's also God working on the believer's heart who's in this industry to be patient, to be kind, to show grace. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not easy, but I think the fashion world, the entertainment world is a good space for God to also sanctify, to make us more like Christ. And it's not easy.
But when you work with this vision in mind, you are more relaxed in work because
Yeah,
you know that what is coming from God, and if it's not coming from God, it will
yeah,
not happen.
yeah.
So uh, you're more relaxed because you say, okay, I'm here at this big event, surrounded by cool people, but I'm here with a purpose. I'm here because God wanted for me to being here. So you are more relaxed because you know it's everything is a leap of faith, is a faith step.
That's true. That's true. A couple of last questions. Do you only work with Italian clients or you work with anybody?
I work with international clients in the influencer marketing industry, so not only fashion industry, but also lifestyle and travel and all the lifestyle, luxury lifestyle industry. And
I
I work
see.
mainly with the international clients.
Gotcha. And what are your specific focuses? Are you helping get influencers positioned at events, fashion weeks, hotel stays?
Okay, I have different division. I have a division who help creators from Brazil going here in Europe and doing the fashion weeks because they're mainly actor and actresses. So they come here, but they don't have the connections with the brand. So I help them creating connections with the brand, but also I have an Italian division with Italian influencers. And with them, my work is My job is mainly focused on commercial partnerships, so negotiate budgets for commercial partnerships, creating contents with them, content production. So this kind of job with them. While with the Brazilian talents, I'm more as a PR.
I see. I see. And how can people get in touch with you if they want to utilize your services?
Okay, with the talents, with the Italian talents, I have a different approach from other agency because what I learned from my 10-year experience is that this kind of talent with more than 1 million followers wants an internal team. They don't want to be in a classic agency with a classic talent roster. They don't want to be connected with other talents. So I have this kind of personal approach. So I use their work email and I work as a personal talent manager for them. So when I go to the brands I know, but also some brands come and knock at our door, and and both me and the talents can see the email arriving, so everything is very transparent. And I work as a personal agent. I am an agency, but I offer this kind of service because I saw that they love to have an internal team. So I work this way with the Brazilian team. I have some Brazilian collaborators, both here in Italy and in Brazil, and they connect with all the talent agencies there and create connections.
I see. Wow. Well, I hope that God continues to bless your agency and the work that you're doing. You're so kind and honest, and your heart is pure, and people can trust you, and that's important. Trust
Thank
is
you.
probably the number one thing in this industry.
Trustability is the main thing, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. If you don't have trust, you get blacklisted,
Mm.
nobody responds to you. And because you exude Christ, I think people can see that there's something different in you. And hopefully, yeah, you'll have more and more and more clientele.
That's
Thank you
great.
so
Thank
much,
you. Thank you
Sonia.
for inviting me, for interviewing me. Sorry for my English, it's not the best at all, but I wanted to
You
put
have good English.
all of my in it.
Yes, yes, it is definitely there.
I hope that you enjoyed this podcast episode and that you have found a soulful connection to the conversation. God bless you, and until the next episode, go bless somebody else.